Swish, can you hear
Yep.
me? Okay.
Gotcha.
Fellas, presented by our good friends at Kits Eyewear. This is the gold medal post-game reaction. Promo code curfew. Get your first pair of any prescription glasses free. Pump in your prescription. Promo code curfew. Next thing you know, knock on the door. Kits Eyewear. Updog's coming in late. He'll be joining us in a second. Our boy Swishy Swish. First of all, fella, you are one of the best American-born players. Guys, I know. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. This one stings, but it's got to feel good for a good Wisconsin boy, huh?
Yeah, Obes, look, I'm a patriot through and through, and I am an honorary Canadian at the same time. I feel for you boys. I feel for the Canadian squad, just how they went out there. I mean, I don't know if USA was deserving of that game, but we got timely saves from Hellebuyck, who I've never seen him look that calm in the net, and then ultimately my guy Jack Hughes, aka Jizzy. I called that goal, Obes. I will say I thought he had it in him, and he did it for our country. And for the first time, getting a gold medal in 46 years, like talk about this country is just gonna get licked today. I mean, I can't wait to see the buzz. That was incredible, man.
There's going to be a lot of drunk people by, I mean, if you're on the West Coast here and you started drinking at 5, I mean, by noon you're going to be
Yep.
done, but there is going to be a lot of day drinkers. I wonder if Tate McRae feels bad right now. You think Tate feels a little bad that her boy put the dagger through the heart of Canadians, or what do you think on that end?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she was over there, if they were hanging out together, or if she put him on dry ice for the couple of weeks. Yeah, she's got to be torn in one way or the other. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's I don't know, man. I just feel for Binnington, obviously Coop, the real Rocket. Like I have a ton of buddies on that squad, as you know, Obes, and um, I don't know if we deserved that game. I'll be honest. But the hockey gods, it just felt, and I said it on our show a little bit too. Just the hockey gods felt like they were on our side the whole game. I mean, that save on Devin Tays, Hellebuyck had McKinnon missing an empty netter, McDavid a couple breakaways, Celebrini was buzzing. And we were just hanging on for dear life. And to get that play, I mean, what a play by Zach Werenski, too, on that 3-on-3 to outmuscle McKinnon and then get it over to Jack Hughes and to beat, Binnington right along the ice. So that's the only place he could have put it, Opes. It's a hell of a win for USA Hockey. And those guys tonight, they better be getting in one over there in Milan.
Buddy, I just heard from Kenny Alberts that they were supposed to fly out tonight, both teams, but because of this fucking snowstorm on the East Coast, they're staying in Milan tonight. So now they get a whole night to just, I'm sure they would have got banged up on the bird home, obviously, but they get a whole night now in the city that you were boots on the ground. They're going to enjoy themselves. They are going to enjoy themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, take that mug right to the Armani Hotel. They got a nice little spot there. But do you hear, too, that they're actually flying to Miami tomorrow? So it's like, do you floor it tonight, Obes? And then they got a hot route to Miami because you can't fly into New York. So they're going to Miami tomorrow. I mean, this could be a solid 48-hour shift for these USA boys.
Yeah, especially for Matty Tkachuk. If you're landing right in Miami, he could just have everything set up for the boys at 11. That's where they took the cup the last couple of years. But, in all seriousness, there's so many good dudes on that American team that have been great to miss in curfew, starting with Matty and Brady, Trocheck, Dylan Larkin's been on the show. I mean, both great countries, obviously. I'm lucky enough to live down here. There's the up dog. I will say this just on the Hellebuyck thing. Swishy, I'm with you. After the first period, I'm like, I've never seen him look so big and so calm in between the pipes. And I was like, obviously Boldy getting that first shot of the game on a breakaway. I'm like, I hope that's not enough to beat us because, Updog, you can jump in here now, buddy. But the way Hellebuyck looked, like Swishy said, man, I've never seen him look so big and so calm. And he stole one for the Americans. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, boys. What I noticed was timely key saves, guys like Celebrini stepping up, having so many point-blank opportunities. It was a goalie duo, right? Like we knew Binner was going to step up. Schmaltzy, Binner's a gamer. So many good chances, man, either way. But Hellebuyck Obes, the guy was a monster today. He was a monster that basically put that whole team on his back. And, without him today, this game was turn the lights out. This game would have been 5. This game would have been 5-0, midway through the second. Canada started to pull away in this game, and without Hellebuyck making those saves, boys, this thing was completely over. So
yeah,
it's
and heading into the tournament, Swish, we talked about both squads, and I'm not Binner played unbelievable, but it wasn't Binner's fault. We lost this hockey game. The save he made in overtime on, was it Jack Hughes again? The fucking post to post, Quinn Hughes, yeah, on the post to post was. Binner is the ultimate gamer. I will never take anything away from Binner. He played great, but looking at their team, Hellebuyck is the reigning fucking Hart and Vezina Trophy winner, and in a short tournament like this, I was worried about this in fact thing, and I would have said this, boys, even if Canada would have won, and heading into 3-on-3, it probably favors Canada, right? And if we're going to nitpick, McDavid went out there and he probably tried to do a little bit too much, right? He wanted to win it. I get it. If I was calling McDavid, I probably would have tried to go through all three guys as well. But in a tournament like this, boys, it's got to be 5-on-5 to the bitter end. And I'm not just saying that because we lost. Even if we would have won, Swishy, I would have said that. Would you guys agree with that? That you can't just go 3-on-3 and it's kind of a coin flip.
Yeah, I'll let Uppy take it, but I think we all agree with best on best, especially. It's got to be 5-on-5, and I honestly think, Obes, that 3-on-3 start, and especially 20 minutes of it, favored us because we weren't getting anything going 5-on-5. We talked about it after 2 periods. Mike Sullivan didn't really make any adjustments in terms of our line combo, so we were just getting hemmed in. And to have it end straight in 3-on-3, I think that's something moving forward that they got to fix. At least play 20 minutes of 5-on-5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, boys. It's too much on the line. Obes, I would have said the same thing. Canada wins that game. Whether McKinnon goes in and scores 3-on-3, you just go, and they talked about it. The golden goal of Sidney Crosby in Vancouver in 2010 was scored in 4-on-4 situation. And at the time, 4-on-4 in 2010, I believe, was the overtime. It was the protocol in the NHL. Right now, it's an unfortunate part of the game. Obes, we talk about a lot. You pull the puck back, there's no action, and all of a sudden, time's just going by, and it's not perfect. So I would like to see maybe, boys, whether it's 5-on-5 for 10, and then if it's the next whistle after that, maybe you want to get some action going, you go to 4-on-4, and then maybe boom, 3-on-3, right? Have 3 different segments just to get the game going. But it's too much on the line. There's too much pride in countries and pride in the way the history of hockey's always been played to play 3-on-3 for a gold medal. To me, it was heartbreaking. We talked about it before the overtime even started. Group texts where everyone's just why is it 3-on-3?
Yeah, I think Americans or Canadians, right? Like Swish said, they won, and he still feels that way. And Uppy, you're right. Kyle Casey Conway's chiming in here, eh? Casey, fuck, good win, buddy. We talked about the depth down the middle, up dog of Team Canada. And, I'm going to give Nick Suzuki a lot of credit. I thought he had a great tournament. I thought he played well. I thought Suzuki got better as the tournament went on. I don't know if I can say the same about Bo Horvat, but that's neither here nor there. Where I am going with this is I'm just thinking about 87 right now, Sid. Obviously we missed him. I can't imagine how he feels in that dressing room right now. I hope it's not the last time we see him best on best. I'm hoping in a couple years we have a World Cup, but watching that game the whole time, I'm thinking, imagine we had a healthy Crosby down the middle. We did miss him. We outplayed them Uppy, but we did miss him.
Yeah, there was, the depth at center, it did become an issue. It's McDavid and McKinnon playing 3-4 more minutes a game down the stretch in do or die quarterfinals and semifinals, both really, really tough matches, where it was a grind. The Team Canada came back from behind in the last 2 out of 3 games. Even in this game, down 1-0, they come back. So they showed resilience, but at the same time, no 87 is heartbreaking, not just to the team, to the country. I can't imagine how he feels right now, boys, because this one, this was his last crack at it. This one is, it's a stinger.
Yeah. Swishy, I'm going to turn it over to you. I want your thoughts on Jack Hughes moving forward now as a kind of a legend of the States. But Doug, I also want to talk about our D, and I don't, it's easy to nitpick here. And, I just thought there was such a difference when Makar was on the ice with Taves. That was one thing. But when it wasn't them, it was a lot of, flipping it up or D to D right up, which is fine. But to me, looking at our back end, that's why we could have maybe used a Matthew Shaver or a Brandon Montour or a Mackenzie Weegar or just somebody when we did get down. I know we outplayed them up dog, but looking at this back end moving forward, if I'm Team Canada, Hockey Canada, We might have made a mistake there, buddy. And it was this close. I mean, we should have won. But watching when Parenko and Samheim, and I love Dewey run the ice, to me, that's when Canada didn't really have as much zip to their game, and we're kind of just doing DDD out, up the wall, up the wall. It was like, we have maybe better defensemen sitting at home.
Yeah, the Mackenzie Uyghurs of the world, guys, the puck moving D-man. I've been watching, Parayko play hockey for a long time, and I love the kid. It's the way he plays, and I think Canada wanted to put together a team that could play big, strong hockey in a 5-game tournament and focus on, two out of your top 4 D-man being world-class in Cale Makar, who can play 25 to 30 minutes a night. But yeah, Obes, it's, D to D off the glass, not having the guy, like, you really carry the play on a, your third and fourth D for Canada. They didn't have much, offense for, what they were looking for. That's for sure, Schmaltzy.
Yeah, if there's one player, Obes, that they're maybe scratching their head about leaving at home, I just think it's Matthew Schaefer. Just how much enthusiasm that kid plays with, the way he can move the puck, the way he can go back for a puck, turn his hips, get back up north, and then ultimately beat him with his skating or his vision. That's one player, Obi. I just think, at worst case, he would have been your 7. But I think, like, if you're looking at one piece that you left at home, it would be that player, because he's such a game breaker, and he's done it in the National Hockey League all season. And I don't think the lights would have been too bright for a kid like that. In hindsight, it's always 20/20, right? We're talking about a game that went to 3-on-3 overtime, and it ended not even at full strength at 5-on-5. So if we're nitpicking it, that would be one piece. I think, they'd be scratching their head at, like, wow, I think we could have maybe used a young man like Matthew Schaefer.
Obi, you're muted.
You got me, boys?
Yeah.
There you go, fella. There you go.
I'm sorry about that, fellas. Yeah, there were some rumors that McKinnon was sick in the semifinal game, and that, tonight he just didn't look himself. He had a glorious chance backdoor to fucking make it 2-1. So you never know what's going on with guys, but Swishy, I just want to, from American-born guy like yourself, like, obviously a lot of chatter heading into this about the Olympic team in the 80s, Miracle. Netflix did a special on them. Like, where does this put Jack Hughes now in, royalty of hockey, USA hockey?
Yeah, I think he skyrockets right up to the top. He just one-upped his brother, who had the game-winning goal against Sweden in the quarterfinals. And this kid, the way he was dancing all tournament, I thought he deserved more ice time than he was even getting. I thought he was extremely valuable in the high cycle. Just anything created from the dots to the inside. It started with Jack Hughes, and the confidence that he had on the power play was something I'd only seen him do at times in New Jersey, let alone the Four Nations last year. So for me, Obi, he instantly goes to number 1. I think that was the biggest game in USA history. You can talk about Miracle, yeah, okay, but that was with college players. This was best on best. We haven't had a medal in 46 years in terms of the gold medal. To me, he is a USA hockey legend, and I can't imagine what this is going to do for his game moving forward, bringing that back to the NHL, Obi. This kid, this is what skyrockets a career, and I could be happy for him. I love his swag, white skates, sick, and the flow, and taking that in the face too from Bennett with the high stick, and then coming back and scoring is it's amazing, man. He cemented himself in USA hockey as, for me right now, as the biggest legend. It's that goal was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll jump on that too. The kid, high risk, high reward. What he did throughout the whole tournament, Schmaltzy had puck on a string, making great plays. He scored great goals. And coming off a hand injury back in November, puts him out for, a month. He comes back, doesn't really find his game too much, but comes into this tournament and was arguably their best player. When I say high risk, high reward, it's worth it. It's worth having him out there making plays and letting him do what he does. And, witnessing him do that little speech after the game, talking about his country, talking about his teammates, talking about just the brotherhood of USA hockey. The kid, he bleeds it. He bleeds the game. And, you mentioned it, but him and Quinn scoring 2 massive, massive goals, probably the 2 biggest goals in USA hockey history when it comes to best on best. if there's anything highlighting this for me out of this, I love that kid. And that golden goal will always be remembered, boys.
Yeah, listen, I love lots of guys on that American team, right? Chucky, Frosty's in there, Brady, Matty, Ikes, Jack Hughes, like you said. Quinn Hughes is one of my favorite players to watch. Listen, where USA hockey is right now, it's great for the game. Did I wish they would have won the silver? Fucking rights, I do, obviously. But I just think right now, with all the momentum that's going on with these two teams, like, we got to find a way to just do a 3 out of 5 or a 4 out of 7. I don't know what it is, when it is, how you do it. That's above my pay grade. But one game wasn't enough. I mean, one game of anything can go to me. Yeah, you got the better of us right now, Swishy, but both countries are so close. I hope they jump on that. And Updog, I just want to talk to you about, obviously Connor McDavid. The big article he wrote at The Athletic before he came in there. This meant a lot to him. Another tough pill for him to swallow. I was thinking that we were going to win the gold and Connor would come back, and next thing you know, the Oilers take over. What happens now? Is it just another thing that he got to regroup from and it'll fuel him to be pissed off? Or do you think this could be a little bit of a lull for him? Like, once again, he gets to almost the top of the mountain and it's like fucking the Kachuk brothers knock him off. I got a feel for the guy.
Yeah, buddy. It's the kid's got to have some tough skin right now. It's, he's facing the music, right? It's like, can he get the job done? I think Connor McDavid's still arguably the best player to ever lace him up, and him not being able to reach his goals, for raising a trophy or putting a gold medal around his neck yet it stings. And this guy, I don't know how much bullets he can take, right? Like, I've never seen the best player in the world not get to the mountain at some point in his, first 10-year career with all these great moments. I mean, the Four Nations was arguably his biggest feat to date, right? For his country against the US. But this game, it could have went so many ways. And this is the way it is hockey. It's like, a hot goalie can be the difference in you making it out of the quarterfinals or you losing a gold medal game 2-1 with a 3-on-3 shootout goal. So, for us Canadians, Connor McDavid, we believe in him. Like, I still believe he's the guy that can bring this thing and get it done. But we're going to have to wait 4 more years, boys, to see, if he can get that gold medal that he's always dreamed of. But this one's tough.
Yeah, a couple more, boys. Just from the Canadian perspective, then Swish, I want to ask you about Billy G as a GM. Our boy John Cooper. Coop's won everything from every level, from the USHL all the way up to the American League, to the 2-time Stanley Cup champ, to the Four Nations. I thought he did a hell of a job, and people will say, oh, you're biased, Obes, or whatever. I just thought, the way he handled the bench with Crosby getting hurt and, putting the Marchand and Bennett and Wilson line together, and then, shuffling Suzuki up and giving Jarvis more ice time. But the pressure cooker that it is, I know this is right after, and it's going to take some time to heal, but like, do you see Coop up? He wanted to be back in there and try to get this done, or is he at the point in his career where, hey, let's just focus on the Tampa Bay Lightning? Because I can't imagine the pressure he was under. I'm obviously going to give him a couple of weeks before I reach out, but the one thing I would ask him is, Coop, how much pressure were you on? Because when I looked at him on TV, Uppy, I kind of felt for him, man. Like, you could see it was weighing on him.
Yeah, no. When the camera panned to him after the goal was scored, boys, you could see the disappointment. You could see the hours and hours of the time that he probably spent thinking about these games and thinking about this team and everything that went into it. John Cooper's an absolute pro, and he does everything to the highest regard. And I think winning an Olympic gold medal for John Cooper would be one of the the biggest achievements of his hockey career. So, Obes, I think he's still got a lot of years left in the NHL. Everyone wants to play for this guy. There's no question that he was the right guy to lead this team into the Olympics. So
for sure,
I'm hoping he gets back to the podium for Canada. He's the guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Swishy, before I turn it over to you, I mean, he probably loves the pressure. And Swishy, I know you become tight with Coop too. Just as his buddy watching him, I'm like, I can't imagine. Like, it's one thing playing, right? We can go out there and we can get involved. You're just standing there coaching, hoping your decisions turn out right. I'm like, I'm nervous sitting here in Newport. I can't imagine, Swishy, what Coop Dog was going through. And either way, he deserves a couple stiff cocktails.
Yeah, and he'll be back. I mean, you forget that you date it back to his first ever Stanley Cup, he had to go through a stinger with Chicago and playing them and losing in a game 6. And I think Coop will obviously learn from this. I don't think he needs any advice from us because he's won at every single level. But I would just love to see him get another crack at it, right? Stay relevant with the Tampa Bay Lightning, hopefully go on a deep run this year. And then, if you have to wait 3 or 4 more years, at least hopefully his name is in consideration. They have so many good bench bosses for Canada. I mean, if you looked at that staff, it was crazy. You had Butch Cassidy, Pete DeBoer, the real Rocket Taka, and then ultimately Coop. So whoever you pick in there, you can't go wrong. But I would, selfishly, I would love to see him get one more crack at it because I do think, inevitably he'd be able to get it done.
Yeah, and then just another thing about Canada, switching before I want your thoughts on Billy G. Doug, I just asked you about McDavid and him coming back to the Oilers. If you're a San Jose Sharks fan and what Macklem Celebrini just fucking learned in these 2 weeks as a 19-year-old kid that is coming back to where his team is already in the playoffs, he's arguably the Hart Trophy winner. I would keep my head up for the San Jose Sharks and that kid because I can't imagine what he learned in those 2 weeks. He's no longer a 19-year-old when it comes to being a hockey player. His experience is crazy what he just learned, Dog.
I would build a National Hockey League team around one player right now, and that'd be Macklem Celebrini. There's no question. He does everything right on the defensive side of things. The way he finishes on every puck, his positional play, the way he makes passes with his teammates, his shot. He did everything so well this tournament. Today, he could have had 3 or 4 goals, boys, in tight. Had a couple one-timers, a couple looks on the 5-on-3. Him getting a chance to play with Connor McDavid and I'm sure just to feel like to feel his energy, to feel the way his mind works, it's only going to help. Like I said, San Jose Sharks, you build a team around a guy like Macklem Celebrini. This guy's generational, and what he did this past 2 weeks for Team Canada only signifies that.
Yeah, and the boys all loved him there, and so look out for the Sharks. And Swishy, sorry, but I was dragging my heels here. But listen, Billy G was under some heat, right? Should have taken Robertson, should have taken Cole Caulfield, stuck with his guys, brought in Trocheck, JT Miller, Kyle Connor, who didn't play, after halfway through the tournament, our boy Cal's. He went with his guys, and he got rewarded, man.
Yeah, and it all starts with the guy he traded for, right? In Quinn Hughes. I mean, he was incredible all tournament. Every time he was on the ice, he was our TOI leader in terms of time on ice the entire tournament. Led the tournament, too, in terms of the teams that were relevant with just under 23 minutes, or I think 23 minutes on the dot per game. I mean, everything started with Quinn Hughes. He's just such a facilitator, but he stuck with his guns, and he stuck to a couple different tweaks there in terms of our Four Nations team, and it ultimately paid off. And even Sully, I always chirp him too, but at the end of the day, you can't really question it worked. The guys like Miller, Trocheck was massive in that game, boys. I mean, he was jumping around 2 or 3 different lines, defensive zone assignments. I think for this game, if you're looking at, we got worked, but there's one guy that was an unsung hero in that game, and it would be Vinny Trocheck, man. He was dialed in defensively. He was on top of the puck, suffocating the Canadian offense, especially from, the dots down. He played a hell of a match, and he did exactly what we needed him to do at key moments.
Yeah, he was a game changer, Quinn Hughes, man. Obviously, they didn't have him in the Four Nations. He stayed back to rest up. Dog, last thing for me, obviously, Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon. But Cale Makar, man. Anytime Cale Makar was on the ice, our team was different. Like, the way he can control the play, much like Quinn Hughes for Team USA. Listen, we all say Connor McDavid's the best player on the planet, which he is, and Nathan McKinnon's the second, and then Draisaitl and so on. But Cale Makar, Dog, throw his hat in the ring for that fucking best player on the planet. I mean, that guy controls the game. When he was out there, maybe that's why the rest of our D kind of looked like it took a step down, because when he was out there, he was the best player on the ice for every single game. Huge goal tonight. So Cale Makar, man, he's the best defenseman I've ever seen play the game. I don't remember Bobby Orr. To me, he's the best defenseman I've ever seen, Ups.
Yeah, he does everything right. The way he moves the puck, the way he moves his feet, getting in and out of turns. His shot, like today, that shot was completely labeled. So, again, and he eats up 30 minutes a night. So we're going to go back to watching him play in the Colorado Avalanche. This was some of the best hockey we could see, best on best. And we got to just take pride in the way that our game is. The fact that the U.S. is now, competing with Canada on a level that is so competitive. Both of these teams are so close. Like the top players in the world on both of these teams are so good. Cale Makar, arguably probably the best player in this tournament, in my opinion, the way he held Canada's back end. It's good for hockey, and it's just going to be tricky to watch NHL hockey again after watching this.
I know. At least it's going to come on at fucking prime time, though. I'm sick of getting up in the morning and watching a fucking hockey game here. But, hey, Swishy, I did say this, fella. I said if Team USA would stay in the village and sleep on a single bed and room and beat us, I would tip my hat, fella. So here I am, tipping my fucking hat. I got to give them credit. They did the full experience and they went away with gold. I cannot still believe they stayed in that village the whole tourney. Congrats, buddy.
The old stabbing cabin. Yeah. Roommates, 2 diamond, like dormitory. Yeah. They grinded it out, man. They really did. So you got to give your hats off to those boys. And they were playing the 9:15 game every goddamn night. So especially just hanging on that village, it sucked. The accommodations, and you can't tug, and you got a roommate. It's just, it's not perfect. So for those boys to grind it out, it's awesome. But lastly, for me, I wanted to turn just one question I got for you guys, the Canadians. Connor Bedard. Now, if you're looking at your team,
fuck yeah,
do you take him over a guy like Seth Jarvis?
I love Seth Jarvis. I love him. I take him on my team any day of the week. But yes, you take Connor Bedard, because in that situation right there, if he has his puck on the stick in a scoring area, he's gonna fucking rip it home, right? Like that. That to me is why he had to be on the team. And I still believe, boys, if he doesn't get hurt, he makes the team. That just gave Canada, I don't know if the right word up is an out, but like maybe they weren't sure. But no disrespect to Seth Jarvis and his fucking beauties buddies who came all the way from Winnipeg, but Swishy, that's why you can't teach goal scoring. And to me, that's why you had to really consider a Connor Bedard.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I just think, if Canada lacked anything, it was some goal scoring, right? Like getting goals early, playing with the lead, especially in these big games, being dynamic, being difference makers. A guy like Jack Hughes, you put Jack Hughes and Connor Bedard sort of in the same bucket, right? Like high risk, high reward, have gotten better every year. It's something like, Team Canada. I like the way they built their team. I like the way they built their team, but at the same time, this kid, he comes back from his injury. He was arguably a top 3 player in the league before he gets hurt. And, keeping him off has got to be a tough decision. So we, on to, what is it, 2030 next? Oh, fuck.
Where's that Olympics? Is it closer, or where the fuck are they playing that?
France.
How about Jack Hughes? How about Jack Hughes, Selly, just throwing his bucket right over the fucking glass?
Yard sailing it. Yard sale. Corn dogs, Jackie.
Is the bumper
for all these? We don't even have corn dogs. Yeah, the Trumper's gonna love this shit.
He's gonna give them all medals of freedom, right? Like next week, something. They're all gonna get something sick.
Just back to the Team Canada question at Swishy. Like when you're listen, we missed Josh Morrissey too, and then Crosby gets hurt. Like. I remember Ryan Getzlaf said near down the stretch here when they were picking this team, he's like, you could go 10 different ways. Or maybe McDavid even said that. You go 10 different ways with Team Canada. Like, you got to take injuries into account if something goes down, like a star player like Crosby. That's why, like, I do believe, and I think Richardson might have said this, you take the best players available and you let them adjust, right? Like, you if they got to kill a penalty, they're not used to killing penalties. They're the best players in the world. They'll find a way. Like, if we're nitpicking here, to me, that was we left a couple fucking studs at home, up front and on the back end. But fuck, we should have won the game. But Swishy, we didn't. I owe you a bottle of Camus. Boys, I appreciate you jumping on. I'm looking forward to Tuesday back in the studio with you boys. But Swishy, congratulations. Boys back home, keep your head up. Coop, I love you. Up dog, love you, buddy. Fuck, we'll get him next time, eh? We'll get him next time. We'll get him next
USA,
time.
Baby.
Thanks for jumping on, boys.
Thanks, Ops. Thanks, Swishy.